Discover the incredible transformation of an MMA coach after his janitor's unexpected first punch. Tyler had poured his life into that gym, turning sweat and tears into a sanctuary for the dreamers of his small Midwestern town. Now, with flaking paint and the echoes of laughter replaced by bitter silence, he stood amidst the wreckage of his ambitions. The once thriving space was ghostly, with only the sound of his heartbeat reminding him he was still alive. As an MMA coach, he had believed he could inspire a generation. But this felt like a slow death. The economic downturn had crushed him, trapping him in a cycle of bills he could barely meet. As he scrubbed the wooden floor late at night, Tyler's body ached not just from manual labor, but from wrestling with the weight of his fading dreams. He paused, glancing at the training mats where young fighters once trained, eyes ablaze with hope. He felt hollow, questioning if any of it mattered anymore. Out of the shadows, the familiar sounds of laughter suddenly turned ugly. Tyler's heart pounded as he rushed from his thoughts, only to find a group of boys cornering a kid, their faces twisted with cruelty. "Hey!" Tyler shouted, rushing forward. Anger surged within him, an old instinct he thought he had buried long ago. In a heartbeat, he leaped to defend the boy, launching into a series of fluid movements, showcasing the skills he had honed over years. It felt good, a spark of life igniting within his chest. But then, as if from nowhere, a sharp punch caught him right on the jaw. Stunned, he turned to find Jesse, the school janitor, a plain man he'd hardly noticed before. The guy stood there, fists clenched, a glint of something complicated in his eyes. "You're not helping," Jesse barked, but Tyler saw beyond the anger. He saw the scars of dreams deferred, the fierce spirit of a man whose own path had twisted into something dark after a tragic accident. The stunned onlookers whispered. Some admired Tyler's skill, others cringed at the chaos. Together, they were a mess, two men caught in a tangle of ambitions turned sore, yet yearning for redemption. This unexpected clash sparked something profound. Over the next few days, the clashing bruised egos turned into a conversation, igniting the idea of community workshops to empower local youth, making the gym a beacon of hope once again. They wanted to lift kids who felt lost, just like they did. Everyone they reached felt it an echo of something good, and soon, the town started taking notice. Yet, not everyone was on board. Resistance bubbled up, aiming to crush their dreams in a place where change felt like a distant luxury. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they poured heart and soul into their venture, Tyler's past whispered seductively. A local tournament was on the horizon, offering the chance for Glory to reclaim his name. It would be a comeback, a shot at redemption. But as the timing clashed with their community work, Tyler's heart wrestled with a tough dilemma. Should he chase glory or remain devoted to the kids who now relied on him? Standing in the shadows of the gym on tournament day, the tension twisted in his stomach. The weight of his choice bore down heavily. Could he truly leave behind a chance at his old life? Or would he choose the uncertain, yet powerful, path of building a community? The answers loomed, lurking just out of reach. The gym was filled with a buzz of energy that morning, yet Tyler felt disconnected from it all. The air was thick with anticipation, people milling about, their chatter a constant reminder that today was more than just a competition, it was a test of everything he'd fought for recently. The kids he'd coached were there, their faces glowing with excitement, sharing their hopes like they were tangible treasures. "Tyler, you gotta see this," shouted Max, a scrappy kid with a mop of unruly hair. He held up his new mitts, bright red and untouched. "I'm ready." Tyler forced a smile. Max had talent, no doubt, but his excitement only served as a weight on Tyler's conscience. Somewhere deep down, he knew that stepping into the ring today meant removing himself from the progress they'd made together. He watched the boys with mixed feelings, pride at their growth, and a nagging guilt for possibly abandoning them. "Hey there," Jesse approached, leaning against a wall, arms crossed. There was a smirk on his face, but the lines around his eyes showed worry. "You sure about this?" Tyler shook his head, the words spilling out too fast. "I don't know, man. I'm torn between two worlds. These kids think I'm their hero, but what if I fail? Failing is part of it. I know that better than anyone," Jesse said, the hint of vulnerability cracking through his tough exterior. "But sometimes you have to show up for your own life, too." He looked toward the kids, his expression softening. "They love you, man. They need you." As Jesse spoke, Tyler felt the air shift. There was truth in those words, a reminder of why he had started this journey. His training mates were pumping each other up, preparing for rituals he had not shared in years. A moment of clarity washed over him. He could be their hero and still go for the tournament. He didn't have to choose one over the other. "Let us do this," Tyler said, his voice steadying as he turned to the kids. They stood wide-eyed, ready for instruction. "How about a little pre-game workout?" Cheers erupted as the kids gathered around him, eager to soak up the last bits of wisdom he could give. Tyler felt lighter, like the burden that had weighed on him was lifted. They practiced punches and kicks, their laughter filling the gym with a warmth that chipped away at his fears. The old thrill began to seep back in, each jab and hook reigniting a fierce desire that had long been dormant. But just as Tyler was about to break into one of his legendary pep talks, the door swung open. The crowd from outside surged in, and the whisper of dissent he had sensed earlier morphed into a cacophony of jeers and insults. A handful of disapproving townsfolk had come to challenge his new direction, their eyes burning with an ambition to slam shut his growing dream. "You think this is a game? This gym is wasting away, and you're just handing it to the kids?" shouted one of the local barflies, a sneer etched across his face. The room froze, the laughter silencing as Tyler's pulse quickened. "Get out!" someone shouted from the back, but the words fell flat in the tension. Tyler's heart raced. They were at a crossroads. Would hatred spiral into their bubble of hope, or would they stand united against the distraction? He felt the eyes of the kids on him, expecting. "Listen up," Tyler shouted. "We're here for a reason." His voice echoed, bouncing off the walls as he stepped forward. "We're not just a gym, we're a community. Why don't you come and see how we've changed things for the better?" As murmurs rippled through the onlookers, Tyler stood resolute, brave enough to spark what needed to happen next. There was still a fight ahead inside and outside the ring. Would they embrace the change? Or would the community's heart harden, dismissing their dream before it could even begin? The unanswered questions loomed, heavy on his shoulders. The murmurs grew louder, a mixture of disbelief and challenge rippling through the crowd. Tyler could feel the weight of their judgment pressing down on him. The excitement in the gym turned brittle, like glass about to shatter. He took a deep breath, determination mingling with the fear that had been gnawing at him all morning. "Why are you all here?" he called out, his voice cutting through the tension. "Did you come to bring us down, or to see what we've built?" The question hung in the air, daring them to respond. A tall figure stepped forward from the group, the scorn clear on his face. "You think this place is going to mean something? It's just a glorified daycare for wannabe fighters. Real fighters train hard, not play games." Tyler's instinct was to lash back, but he held his tongue, desperate to show his kids that strength could be measured in more than just shouts and bravado. He glanced at the boys, their wide eyes searching for his reaction. They were counting on him, and in that moment, the pressure turned into an electric force coursing through him. "Here's a thought," Tyler said, raising a hand. "Why not step in here and see how hard these kids work? You think it's a joke? Then come train with us." Gasps rippled through the kids behind him. They caught the energy, hope flaring in their young hearts. Tyler watched as Jesse leaned in, looking back and forth between the two groups, an eyebrow raised. "Are you really suggesting that?" Jesse asked, his voice low. "I am. If they think we're here to waste our time, let us show them how wrong they are," Tyler answered, desire crystallizing into action. For a moment, silence filled the gym, heavy and uncertain. Tyler could see the flash of annoyance in the old man's eyes, the struggle inside him battling the urge to back down. Then, with a grimace, he stepped forward. "Fine. 1 round. But don't think for a second that I'll go easy on you." "Just so you know," Tyler shouted back, a spark of mischief glimmering in his eyes as he turned to the kids. "This isn't about just winning or losing. It's about showing what hard work looks like." The kids erupted in cheers again, their excitement reignited. They were watching him become their champion once again, and the thought lightened his heart. But amid the cheer, Tyler also felt the pit of anxiety in his stomach. What if he couldn't hold up? As the townsmen stepped into the makeshift ring, tension thickened the air. The spectators jostled, their emotions mixed, some hopeful, others rooted in skepticism. Jesse stepped beside Tyler. "You ready for this?" Tyler let out a nervous chuckle. "I guess I'm about to find out." The strangers formed a circle around the ring, their chants echoing off the walls. Tyler squared his shoulders, the energy building inside him, drawing from every ounce of determination he had for the kids watching. The town was still skeptical, but he could feel some shifting their stance, curious to witness what came next. Jesse stepped back, his voice low. "Remember, Tyler, it's not just about you. Show them who you are, what this means." The bell rang, a sharp sound breaking through the tension, and they met in the center of the ring. Tyler focused, the world narrowing down to just him and the challenger. With each move, he poured his heart into every punch. The past few months flashed before him, coaching the kids, sharing their joys and struggles. He felt their hope fueling his fists, a blazing fire that ignited something deep inside him. But just as he landed a solid hit, something unexpected happened. A sharp gasp erupted in the crowd. Tyler turned his head instinctively, just in time to see the janitor, an unlikely bystander who had come in to clean, throw an unexpected punch that landed squarely on the opposition's jaw. "What the?" Tyler exclaimed, stunned. The gym erupted in chaos, half cheering and half in disbelief. Amid the cacophony, Tyler was left with one burning question. What would happen next? Would this unexpected twist turn the tide in their favor, or was it merely the beginning of a deeper conflict? Tyler blinked, the scene shifting like a movie reel. The janitor, a familiar face called Gus, stood in the ring, fists raised and a wild look in his eyes. What had just happened? Tyler's heart raced. A mix of laughter and shock rippled through the crowd. Some couldn't help but cheer for Gus, seeing the underdog rise unexpectedly. Tyler didn't know whether to be thrilled or terrified. The townsmen had gone down, and it was clear that this unexpected punch was both a game-changer and a Pandora's box of new complications. "What were you thinking, Gus?" Tyler finally managed to yell, concern etched on his face. Gus grinned, a touch of mischief dancing in his eyes. "I thought it was about time we shook things up a bit." The crowd roared. Tyler sensed the shift in energy, a wave of excitement and possibility washing over the gym. But along with it, confusion simmered. The townsman, back on his feet, glared at Gus, his composure shattered. It was unclear whether he would retaliate or bow out, humiliated by a punch from someone he probably considered beneath him. "Either you fight me or you leave," he seethed, wiping blood from his chin. Gus placed his hands on his hips, unmoved. "I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to stand up for what matters. It isn't about you, buddy, it's about these kids." The kids, with wide eyes and racing hearts, had never seen anything like this. Their cheers were deafening, filling the gym with a sense of unity. Tyler felt his chest swell with pride, not just in his own strength, but in the raw courage of the people around him. They were all united now, the town against one stubborn, narrow-minded view. "You want to go again? Fight me?" The townsman challenged, looking back at Tyler. The crowd held its breath, a tension strangling the air. Tyler felt an unsteady confidence simmer inside him. "We'll take you all on. As many rounds as you want. But note that you're fighting for an idea, one that we believe in." The words hung, pulsing with strength. It was then that he noticed the older boys at the back of the gym. They stood taller, their faces lit with fire. They had watched their coach transform from an ordinary man into a symbol of resolve. Tyler noted how they began to step forward, hesitating a moment, then moving swiftly to rally around Gus. "We're with you," Jesse yelled, voice full of adrenaline. Side by side, the kids began to form a human line around Gus, their energy like stones laid at the entrance of an ancient fortress. Tyler felt a swell of hope, knowing this was a defining moment for them. They weren't just defending a gym. They were fighting for respect, for their community, for the dreams they had forged together. The townsman's face twisted with anger and disbelief. "You think just because you throw a punch, you're suddenly fighters? This is a joke." "Not a joke. A movement." Tyler's words rang with conviction. He stepped forward, heart pounding, knowing that this next moment could solidify what they had fought to build. Just as the tension peaked, Tyler took a step into the ring, a magnetic pull drawing the crowd's gaze to him. Let us show you what hard work means. We may not look the part to you, but we're here to change the game. And as he squared up to face the townsman again, the cheers of the kids blended into a chorus of support echoing through the gym. The pressure surged, and Tyler couldn't shake the electric thrill that coursed through him. But just like that, an unexpected wave of doubt crashed over him. Had he really prepared the kids for what was about to come? With his heart racing, he braced himself, ready for the moment. Because this was more than just a fight now. It was a fight for their future. As their eyes met, each waiting for the other to make the first move, Tyler wondered, could the town truly change today, or were they all about to stumble into something far bigger than they could handle? The crack of the townsman's knuckles echoed in Tyler's ears as the moment hung in the air, thick with anticipation. The eyes of the crowd were glued to them, breaths held, waiting for something to break. Let us see what you got, the townsman snarled, taking a step forward, the anger emanating from him like heat from a furnace. Tyler clenched his fists tighter, trying to focus through the whirlwind of doubt swirling in his mind. He could feel every kid's gaze on him. They believed in him, in them. There was no room for failure here. Gus, still standing defiantly beside him, seemed to vibrate with energy. You ready, Tyler? He called out, his grin infectious. It struck Tyler. Then, how much this moment meant they were about to rewrite the rules. Let us do this, Tyler shouted back, the adrenaline surging. The crowd erupted, their collective spirit igniting like a match to kindling. As the townsman lunged forward with a wild swing, Tyler leaned back, dodging just in time, feeling the rush of air as it passed. He stepped in quickly, throwing a jab that landed squarely against the man's side. The sound echoed a thud of both flesh and a challenge issued. The townsman reeled slightly, eyes widening in disbelief. Not as easy as you thought, huh? Tyler taunted, letting the adrenaline carry his words. With that, the crowd roared, a living wave of energy that surged through Tyler. United, he thought. They were all united. An army of voices cried out in support, laughter mingling with cheers, a symphony of hope being played out on the canvas of sweaty gym mats. But the townsman wasn't finished. He recovered quickly, charging back in anger. Tyler sidestepped again, adrenaline fueling his movements. He could taste the electric thrill of the crowd's anticipation washing over him. This wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a test of heart's proving ground for everything he and the kids had fought for. Redoubling his focus, Tyler summoned all he had learned from the gym. The rigorous drills, the late-night talks with Gus, the laughter, and the struggles they mattered now. Here's the deal, Tyler shouted over the noise. You're not just fighting me. You're standing against all of us. With those words, he made his next move, a swift combination of jabs followed by a hook that landed cleanly. The townsman's face twisted in surprise, and Tyler caught the flicker of fear in his opponent's eyes. It felt golden, a shift in the momentum that charged the air. All around, the kids were wild, shouting encouragement and belief filled the air. Tyler felt each voice wrapping around him like a shield, giving him strength. Then, just as he was gaining traction, he felt a jolt of pain shoot through his shoulder. The townsman had come back swinging, and this time, the blow landed hard. Tyler stumbled back, heart racing as he regained his footing, but the sudden pain sent shockwaves of doubt coursing through him. Come on, Tyler. You got this. Jesse's voice rang out, cutting through the haze of discomfort. With those words, Tyler realized the truth in the moment. It wasn't just about winning or losing. It was about showing they could fight for something much bigger than themselves. This was about resilience. Through gritted teeth, Tyler caught the townsman's eye again. You may think you're strong, but real strength is standing up for what matters. And just like that, the air shifted. Tyler saw the doubt flicker in the townsman's eyes. Had he underestimated them? This team, this movement? But before Tyler could strike again, a sharp whistle echoed through the gym, cutting through the chaos. Everyone froze, the intensity electrifying the air. What had just happened? Could this be the turning point they needed, or would it all come crashing down? The whistle shattered the tension like glass, and for a heartbeat, everything stood still. The crowd, for a moment, hovered in restless silence, confusion hanging thick in the air. Tyler glanced around, searching for the source of the interruption. And then he spotted Mr. Hawthorne, the gym's old janitor, standing at the entrance. His brow furrowed, his expression a mix of concern and resolve. The man had always been in the background, unassuming and unnoticed, never part of the fights or the cheers. Just a keeper of the place, mopping floors and emptying trash. But today was different. Today, as Tyler caught his eye, something shifted in the silent old man. "Enough," Mr. Hawthorne yelled, his voice cutting through the bewilderment like a knife. "What the hell?" The townsman spat, pulling himself up taller. He was still reeling from Tyler's last punch, breathing heavily, but he seemed ready to unleash another roar. "Let him speak," Tyler called, feeling the ground beneath him change as he swelled with determination. Mr. Hawthorne wasn't just a janitor. He had seen it all over the years, children growing into adults, struggles and dreams merging in this very space. The townsman hesitated, eyeing the janitor with irritation, but the crowd's murmurs grew louder, anticipating the man's next words. Mr. Hawthorne stepped forward, his weathered face glowing with a fire that demanded respect. "Tyler," he began, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "When I first came here, it was a rundown place, just like I was. But then I saw you kids, saw you all fight for each other. You showed me that every bruise, every struggle, it's a part of life. This fight, it's not just about strength in arms. It's about the strength of your spirit." The gym was charged now, the air thick with something more than anger or hope. It was inspiration. No one expected a janitor to stand up, Mr. Hawthorne continued, glancing at the townsman who glared back silently. "But I've learned we all have the power to fight back, to stand tall no matter where we come from." Tyler could feel tears prickling the corners of his eyes, but he held them back. This moment was bigger than personal pride. It was about all of them, unity and vulnerability. And with that realization, something clicked inside him. "Mr. Hawthorne is right," Tyler shouted, his voice rising over the murmur. "We're all in this together. Everyone's been fighting their battles, whether in the ring or in life. You think you can take us down? We'll show you what real strength is." The townsman's smirk faltered, and Tyler pushed onward, the adrenaline pumping through him anew. He felt his shoulder throb, but didn't care. "This isn't just my fight. It's for every kid who's been told they're not enough, for every dreamer ignored, every underdog overlooked." Cheers erupted from the crowd, thicker now, fiercer. Children, parents, friends, they were all echoing his words. They were tired of being pushed down. With a rush of newfound strength, Tyler squared his shoulders, eyes fixed on the townsman once more. "We're stronger together," he declared, shifting into a fighting stance, adrenaline flowing. He knew everyone was behind him now, ready to rise and stand as one. But the townsman, faced with this tidal wave of unity, blinked slowly. Was it hesitation? Could he be realizing that perhaps he didn't have the upper hand anymore? The tension shifted in the air, and Tyler felt the thrill of possibility. "What will you do now?" Tyler asked, his voice steady yet filled with challenge. "Will you fight, because that fight will never be just for one?" As the townsman opened his mouth to respond, a different kind of energy buzzed through the gym. Hope and anticipation intertwined, building towards something greater than victory or loss. But would the townsman capitulate or unleash his final rage? And how would this fight reshape the future for everyone involved? The townsman was suddenly still, his face a mask of conflicted emotions. Anger flickered in his eyes, but something else shadowed beneath the hint of uncertainty. The crowd hushed, hanging on his every move as tension crackled in the air, an invisible line drawn between him and Tyler. "You're really going to do this?" he finally asked, voice thick with skepticism. He glanced around at all the onlookers. The collective energy in the room pulsed, thickening the air as it hovered over each person like a heavy fog, everyone waiting to see how this standoff would unfold. Tyler's heart raced. "Yes, we're doing this. Not just for me, but for everyone who has ever felt pushed aside." His voice was louder now, solid and unwavering. Echoes of cheers bounced off the walls, rallying strength within those present. They were not just spectators. They had become a part of this moment. Mr. Hawthorne stood to the side, a quiet force among the chaos. He watched the scene unfold with a rare intensity, his faith in Tyler shining brightly. The weight of his earlier words hung in the air like a benediction. The townsman's demeanor shifted. What do you think you're going to achieve? He sneered, a desperate attempt to regain control over the situation. His bravado was fading, deflated by the palpable sense of solidarity growing within the gym. We're going to show you what it really means to fight, Tyler declared. He could feel the energy swirling around him, faces in the crowd lit up with a fierce determination. This wasn't just about fists. This was about heart, soul, and the kind of strength that bound them all together like family. As he stood tall, buoyed by their spirit, Tyler noticed a subtle yet significant change in the townsman. The bravado was melting away, and for a split second, vulnerability flickered on his face. Was this man finally starting to realize the power of unity? Look around, Tyler urged. There's no more us in them. It's all of us against the problems that try to break us down. This isn't just a fight for power or pride. It's a fight for change. A girl in the front row shouted, "Yeah, Tyler. Show him." Her voice cut through the tension and shot a surge of energy through the crowd. Tyler felt it surge through him, too. "We're not afraid anymore," he said, each word laden with determination. The townsman shifted on his feet, a crack forming in his facade. Tyler knew he had to keep pushing. He could see the doubt clawing at the man as confidence. "What will it take for you to see?" Tyler pressed on. "This is your chance to be part of something bigger. You can either cling to your anger or join us. What will it be?" The townsman's expression flickered, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Perhaps for the first time, he was questioning the battle he had so fiercely waged. His limbs trembled, hesitating at an internal crossroads. The crowd held its breath, the world hinging on this one moment. Suddenly, the townsman raised his hands, signaling a call for peace, a stark contrast to the violence that had been brewing. Okay, he said, finally looking around at the expectant faces. "But let me show you what happens when you challenge me." Tyler's heart pounded as he sensed the potential for change. This wasn't simply a fight anymore. It was a chance to redefine everything. What if defeating him now meant transforming hearts instead? But would the townsman actually embrace that possibility, or would the fists fly before reason could take hold? The atmosphere buzzed with electricity, a challenge tossed into the ring. As eyes locked and emotions soared, Tyler could feel the weight of fate pressing upon them all. What could possibly happen next? The townsman's exhale broke the silence, heavy and uncertain. The crowd held their breath, waiting for what would follow. Would he pull back into bitterness, or take a step forward into something unknown? Tyler could see the internal struggle playing out in the man's expression, anger mingled with vulnerability, brimming over with the edges of fear and doubt. "You're all so eager for change," the townsman began, his voice surprisingly steady. "But how do you plan on achieving it?" His tone was softer now, almost reflective. He waved his hands as if to scatter the energy that buzzed between them. "What happens if this unity of yours isn't enough?" Tyler stepped forward, the tension in the room thickening yet again. "It is enough. You just need to see it. We're not standing here just to throw punches or settle scores. We're saying together enough is enough. We want something more for ourselves and for this town." The townsman stared, his brows knitting together. Behind that tough exterior, Tyler sensed a flicker of curiosity mingling with his confusion. He turned and scanned the faces in the room, each one tense, hopeful, driven. "What if you all fail?" The townsman pressed, still not ready to break free from the chains of his skepticism. "What if this is just a moment of false hope?" Tyler felt the mix of frustration and desperation. "What if we don't?" He shot back, emboldened by his conviction. "What if standing up today changes everything? For you, for me, for everyone? We can break that cycle of anger that you're clinging to." The gym seemed to vibrate with every syllable, buoyed by the hope rising within it. A murmur cascaded through the crowd in acknowledgement of truth. Tyler could see the townsman's facade begin to crack, light penetrating the darkness of his anger. If only he could hold on to that moment a little longer. "You don't have to keep fighting. Join us instead," Tyler offered, his voice steady and genuine. "We need heart, not hate." With those words, something in the man visibly shifted. The tightness of his jaw softened, and the tensity in his shoulders loosened just a notch. But was it enough? He was still standing there, indecisive, amidst this storm of emotions. "Tyler, if the townsman joins us, what does that mean for everything?" A voice from the crowd broke the spell momentarily, a reminder that there were still questions yet to be answered. It means change, Tyler said, passion igniting in his chest. Suddenly, the townsman's vulnerability took center stage. It means we can rewrite our story with hope instead of despair. The townsman's eyes hardened for a fleeting moment, and it sent a wave of apprehension through Tyler's veins. It was as though every person present was holding onto the same breath, waiting for the decisive moment. "I want to believe you," the townsman finally said, glancing at the faces surrounding him. In that heartbeat, something profound hung in the air, a leap of faith poised, ready to be taken. But then, a voice unexpectedly called from the back. "Don't trust a man who has sworn to keep you down." It was a voice echoing someone else's fears, a reminder of the obstacles looming ahead. Tyler turned sharply as murmurs coursed through the crowd, the facade momentarily renewed. Would the townsman take the plunge off that cliff of doubt, or would he allow the past to dictate their future? The room pulsed with unanswered questions, and the air grew thick with uncertainty. As silence gripped them once again, Tyler felt the weight of possibilities settle around him. He took a breath, preparing for next words that might alter everything once more. Would it be enough to push the townsman into the light, or would he retreat into the shadows of his past? The answer was hanging there, just out of reach. A low murmur spread through the crowd, a ripple of doubt washing over the room. Tyler's heart raced as he caught the townsman's gaze, a mix of anger and fear pulling taut across his features. The townsman's silence screamed in the ears of everyone present. Tyler felt the weight of expectations resting on his shoulders. Could he really be the voice of change? "Listen," Tyler called out, his voice cutting through the tension. "We've been caught in this cycle long enough. We can't keep looking back at what's wrong. It's time we look forward." He gestured passionately. "This is our chance to rebuild, to stand together. It's not about trusting one man. It's about building a stronger community." The townsman shifted, his expression wavering between skepticism and intrigue. He ran a hand through his hair, the strain of indecision laid bare for everyone to see. "But what will happen if you fall? If it all goes sideways?" The question hung heavy in the air, echoing the doubts felt by others. Painful memories clung to the townsman like shadows, threatening to engulf him. Tyler sensed the crowd leaning in, waiting for hope to emerge from this flickering flame. "What if we do fall?" Tyler challenged, the conviction rising in his chest. "But what if we rise together instead?" A gasp swept through the crowd. Some faces transformed, brightened with embers of hope. He glanced around, searching for that spark of belief in their eyes, igniting his own. Standing up takes courage, but standing together now, that takes something real. That's how we build our town, piece by piece. The townsman's brows furrowed deeply, his face a flurry of emotions. Tyler took another step closer, vulnerability weaving its way through his heart. It might be scary. It might not be easy. But the fear of change should never stop us from trying. We owe it to ourselves, to our children. Let us leave the past behind. Tyler's words hung palpably in the air, and for a moment, it seemed as if everyone held their breath. Then, slowly, a hand raised from the crowd. It was an elderly woman, her face weathered but alive with resilience. "I've lived too long in the shadows. I don't want to teach my grandchildren that fear is stronger than hope." More people began to stir. "Right," someone shouted from the front. "Hope is what we need. We're tired of the same old fights." Encouraged, Tyler locked his gaze on the townsman once more. A flicker of realization crossed the man's eyes, as if no longer trapped by his history. Moments ticked by in an agonizing silence. Would he finally declare what was past due? The townsman's throat tightened as the words lodged uncomfortably, but he couldn't escape Tyler's unwavering focus. With a deep breath, he began, "Maybe it's time I suddenly." An unexpected interruption shattered the scene. A loud crash echoed through the gym. Everyone turned, faces contorted in shock and confusion. Before Tyler could process what had happened, a group barged in, faces twisted in outrage. "What is going on here?" One of them barked, brandishing a broken chair like a weapon, eyes darting around the room. Instant panic threaded through the crowd as disbelief morphed into fear. With emotions running high, Tyler felt his heart slam against his ribs. Would this moment of unity unravel into chaos? Would the townsman retreat again, or rise to inspire courage amidst the threat? Tyler squared his shoulders, ready to navigate this new challenge head-on. But how would they handle this shocking turn of events, and what would it mean for the fragile hope that had started to bloom? The tension in the gym intensified, the buzz of excitement abruptly replaced by a suffocating silence as the aggressive group moved closer, demanding answers. Their faces were fierce, steeped in hostility, sticking out like a thorn among the hopeful crowd of children and parents. Tyler's heart raced. He could see the glint of uncertainty mirrored in the townsman's eyes. "That's enough," Tyler shouted, stepping forward, determination fueling his words. The atmosphere stood on the precipice, waiting for someone to break the spell. "We're not here to fight over old grudges. This is about something new." The leader of the intruders, a burly man with a scar running down his cheek, snorted in derision. "New? This is just a gathering of lost boys playing pretend. They think they can change the world?" Tyler felt the weight of every eye on him, the passionate support behind him. "It's not pretend," he said, voice filled with certainty. "These kids are showing up for each other, learning to be more than what everyone expects. They believe we can make this town better, together." The intruders exchanged skeptical glances, uncertainty creeping in. Tyler could sense the shift, but he knew they couldn't back down. The moment demanded courage, and with a quick glance at the children, the fiery spirit that had ignited him since the first punch he threw surged within once more. "Everyone here has felt the sting of disappointment," Tyler proclaimed, addressing the crowd while gesturing to the newcomers. "But today, we stand on the threshold of something real. You can be a part of this. You can join us." The kids rallied behind him, echoes of encouragement filling the space. "Join us," they shouted, their voices ringing loud to drown out the dissent. A chorus of innocence that shook the very foundations of doubt. Tyler stepped a little closer to the intruders. "Don't you want something different? Something more than anger and fighting over scraps?" The burly man narrowed his eyes, visibly wrestling with something: his anger, his past, a yearning for change. "And what if you fail?" he spat. "Then we'll get back up and try again," Tyler responded, each syllable throbbing with the pulse of determination. "That's what life is about. Each bruise is a lesson, every setback a chance to rise again." High above the crowd's voices, a palpable shift occurred. The townsman, once entrenched in doubt, found his voice, stepping forward, emboldened by Tyler's defiance. "You fought for me when I didn't think I was worth it," he said, directing his gaze at the new group. "We've all stumbled. But today, we can change that if we want to." Tyler felt the air shift. Something remarkable was blooming among them. The burly man's anger flickered, tiredness set in. "This isn't a charity. You have to earn your keep," he barked. "What do you want?" Tyler asked, unwavering. "To keep this cycle going, or to create something brighter for everyone. This isn't just our gym or our fight. This is about a community coming together." To everyone's surprise, uncertainty cracked the scars on the man's face. "It's hard to see what could be," he muttered. "Then let us show you," Tyler said, his words imbued with belief. "Open the door to a new way of thinking. Join us." A moment hung suspended, tension transforming into something ineffable. Finally, the burly man shifted slightly, then nodded, letting out a deep breath. "Fine, but only if you prove it," he relented. Cheering erupted, swelling through the gym. Tyler's heart leaped as hope coursed through the crowd. "We'll show you what it means to fight for each other," he declared, and the room exploded in applause. The days ahead would undoubtedly require grueling efforts and commitment, but today, something profound had erupted. Tyler smiled as the children gathered close, faces beaming with enthusiasm, ready to lead this new course alongside their coach. In this small gym, the laughter was infectious, the spirit unbroken. Hearts were beginning to heal, expectations shifted, and dreams blossomed. Hope wasn't just alive, it thrived, lighting the way forward. "Okay, let us show them how it's done," Tyler cheered, a broad grin lighting his face. As they dispersed into teams, laughter and adventure filled the air. Tyler basked in the warmth of transformation. It was a moment of clarity, one where he embraced the beautiful strength found in unity, a welcome force changing the course of their lives. The journey was just beginning, but this was the moment they had waited for, the dawning of something brighter. And beneath the hopeful echoes of children's laughter and the renewed pledges of unity, something wild and free had awakened within their hearts. a flame undaunted by doubt. Now it's time for you to join this journey. You need to subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss our next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button and help us feed the algorithm. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and feel this inspiration. Comment below with your feelings about this ending. Your voice matters.